In the dim light of a cold, damp dungeon, a man awakens to the sound of his own groans. His body aches from the torture he endured the night before. He tries to move but finds himself shackled to the stone wall. His limbs stretch to their limits. The air is thick with the stench of sweat, blood, and death. This is the world of the late 1400s and early 1500s, an era of great discovery and unimaginable cruelty. It is a time when the boundaries of the known world are expanding, but the darkness of the human soul is as deep as ever. This is the story of Ferdinand Magellan, a man whose name is synonymous with exploration, but whose life was marked by struggle, betrayal, and a quest for something more than just wealth and fame. Ferdinand Magellan was born in Portugal in 1480. From a young age, he was fascinated by the sea and the tales of distant lands. He dreamed of sailing to the edge of the world and beyond, but life was not easy for Magellan. He grew up in a time of great change and turmoil. The Portuguese and Spanish monarchies were locked in a fierce competition for control of the spice trade, a lucrative business that promised wealth and power. Spices like cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, and pepper were not just valuable for their flavor. They were also used to preserve food and mask the smell of rotting meat. This meant that the spice trade was not just about profit, it was also about survival. Despite the dangers, Magellan was determined to make his mark. He joined the Portuguese Navy and served in several expeditions to Africa and India. During these voyages, he witnessed the brutal realities of colonialism. Native populations were often treated with cruelty, and diseases brought from Europe spread rapidly, decimating entire communities. But Magellan's ambitions were not yet satisfied. He believed that there was a way to reach the Spice Islands, the Moluccas, by sailing west across the Atlantic, and through a passage that no one had ever found. This was a bold and dangerous idea, but Magellan was convinced it could be done. When the Portuguese king rejected his proposal, Magellan turned to Spain. The Spanish monarchs, King Charles I, later Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, and Queen Isabella, were intrigued by the idea of breaking Portugal's monopoly on the spice trade. They agreed to sponsor Magellan's expedition, and in 1519 he set sail with a fleet of 5 ships and a crew of 270 men. The journey was fraught with challenges. The crew faced storms, mutinies, and disease. They also encountered new lands and peoples, some of whom were friendly and others who were hostile. But the greatest challenge was yet to come. After months of sailing, Magellan's fleet reached the southern tip of South America. Here they discovered a narrow passage that would later be named the Strait of Magellan. This was a moment of triumph for Magellan, but it was also a moment of great danger. The strait was treacherous, with strong currents, rocky shores, and dense fog. Many ships had tried to navigate it before and failed, but Magellan, with his exceptional skills as a navigator, managed to guide his fleet through the strait. It was a feat that would later be considered impossible by many sailors. Once they emerged from the strait, Magellan's fleet entered the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. This was a new and daunting challenge. The Pacific was much larger than anyone had imagined, and the journey was long and difficult. The crew faced starvation, scurvy, and mutiny. Some of the ships turned back, and others were lost. But Magellan and a small group of loyal sailors continued on. They eventually reached the Philippines, where Magellan met his end in a battle with local tribes. Magellan's death was a tragedy, but his legacy lived on. His voyage proved that the world was round, and that it was much larger than anyone had previously thought. This was a significant achievement, but it was not the only one. Magellan's journey also had a profound impact on the way people thought about the world. Philosophers, scholars, and even members of the church began to question long-held beliefs about the shape of the earth, its size, and its place in the universe. Magellan's expedition provided concrete evidence that challenged medieval assumptions and opened the door to new ideas and discoveries. However, the impact of Magellan's voyage was not all positive. The search for new lands and resources often led to the exploitation and suffering of indigenous peoples. Diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza, which were unknown in the Americas, spread rapidly, causing devastating epidemics. The arrival of European explorers also brought with it new forms of violence and cruelty. The Spanish Inquisition, led by figures like Tomás de Torquemada, used torture and terror to enforce religious conformity. The Star Chamber in England sentenced innocent men to death without a fair trial. And in Italy, the African slave trade became a profitable business, with merchants transporting human cargo to European markets. Despite these dark aspects, the Age of Exploration also brought about significant advancements in science, technology, and culture. The Renaissance, a period of renewed interest in art, literature, and learning, was fueled by the discoveries and ideas that emerged from this era. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, scientists like Galileo Galilei, and writers like William Shakespeare all contributed to a cultural reawakening that would shape the modern world. Magellan's voyage was a turning point in history. It marked the beginning of a new era of global exploration and the expansion of European influence. But it also highlighted the complex and sometimes tragic consequences of human ambition. The journey of Magellan and his crew was a testament to human courage and determination, but it also served as a reminder of the darker side of human nature. In the end, Magellan's legacy is a complex one. He was a man of his time, driven by a desire to explore the unknown and prove the world was round. His achievements were significant, but they came at a great cost. The Age of Exploration brought about great discoveries and advancements, but it also led to the exploitation of native peoples and the spread of disease. Magellan's voyage serves as a powerful reminder of the dual nature of human progress. It is both a story of triumph and a cautionary tale about the consequences of our actions. Today, we remember Magellan not just for his discoveries, but for the courage and determination he showed in the face of immense challenges. His journey was a testament to the human spirit, but it also serves as a reminder of the need for responsible exploration and the importance of treating all people with dignity and respect. As we continue to explore the world and beyond, we should strive to learn from the past and ensure that our quest for knowledge and discovery is guided by a sense of ethics and compassion.